Hello, and welcome back to the Proving Grounds as we return to the world of Bloodstained. In no time and in no place, Miriam's fate would be different. So last time we talked about Course of the Moon, and this time we are talking about the lovely and the delightful and the darling child Ritual of the Night. Bloodstained Ritual Night started out as a Kickstarter, and just to make it clear, I was a backer of said Kickstarter, so I got a physical version of this game for the PS4, which is what you're seeing, and Course of the Moon, which was a free for, I think, pretty much everyone who is 60 plus tier, I believe, but that's just for your information. Now, I am very familiar with many, if not almost pretty much every single Castlevania, basically. I think maybe if you looked really closely, you might find one I might not be too familiar with, but I own and have played and have beaten quite many of the titles. Of course, the most notable is of Symphony of the Night and onward, which would be the ones that IGA, don't mind me if I say IGN. I sometimes do that when I say his initials for his name. But was renowned for being involved with the Metroidvania-esque age of Castlevania. Now, to get this in the simplest way out of the way, if you don't want to see the rambles, the simplest way is, if you love Symphony of the Night, for the love of humanity, go buy this game, but don't buy the Switch version. Like, don't buy the Switch version unless... Well, I guess what I should say is, don't buy the Switch version if you care about having a physical version that has good data on it. Because the physical cart is garbage. Now, supposedly they're going to update it to where it's in a better situation, so if you don't mind updates or it being digital, you can consider it in the future. But for the love of humanity, do not even buy that for now until it's fixed, because it is in a terrible state, is in a terrible, horrible state compared to every other version of this game, which is really strange considering it's currently the best-selling version, which just goes to say a whole lot of irony. But anyway, but if you love Symphony of the Night, buy this. It's on GOG DRM free. It's on Steam. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox, I believe. It's on everything but a damn Vita. You poor Vitas. Poor little Vitas. But, so you have lots of platforms. But if you're interested in the Switch version, wait until you hear about actually getting fixed, because it is in a broken state. But getting into the details, so if you're going in this from my review or just playing Course of the Moon, which was originally supposed to be a prequel setting up this story, which got thrown out for a whole new retconning of the story. So Miriam was the second joinable character in Course of the Moon. She is the main character of Ritual of the Night, while Zingata is a side character you meet throughout your journey. Alfred you also meet, and Gabriel is actually met really early on as the villain. Oh dear. So you start out as Miriam, who has awoken apparently from a 10-year sleep. She is a shard binder, and I'll get into about shards. I just want to set up the story. So she wakes up, Gabriel is gone mad and is going to fucking wreak havoc on humanity for apparently the atrocities they have done to the shard binders, or specifically the alchemists, but he's just basically like, yeah, just screw the world, destroy everything. Anywho, you go with your friend on a ship in hopes of finding out what the hell's going on. You get attacked and crash into the mainland where a castle appeared in hopes of finding a way to stop the demon invasion that is happening. So, as Miriam, you have many familiar abilities if you played Symphony of the Night. Backstepping, sliding around, going through normal Metroidvania-esque maps, going up and down and topsy-turvy, and as you go through the game, you'll find new courses of ways to get through, such as a weird laser beam you can, like, reflect off mirrors, turn the whole freaking castle upside down to traverse higher, out-of-reach places you wouldn't normally be even able to reach. There were quite a few differences in some of the abilities, but just like most Metroid and Metroidvania-esque games, multiple abilities that allow you to get to new areas. Now, if you're looking for something as long as Symphony of Night, sadly, I don't think any Metroidvania has ever really gotten to be as long as Symphony of Night, which, I mean, to be fair, they completely reused the castle upside down, but still, it is a pretty decent length. I spent about 24 hours through the game, so that's not too bad. It could have been nice to be a little longer, but can't have all the wishes and dreams of everything. So as you progress through the game, you'll get a lowdown that you came here to help solve what the hell Gabriel's up to, stop the demon invasion, and with the work of some of the characters who are with and against you, you'll find out the mysteries of what's truly going on here. Now, as you play through the game, believe me, if you played Symphony of Night, hell, even if you know some of the stuff that were moved from the English version, you will be happy to know there are many homages, references, very good, even cameo jokes towards Castlevania. Now, some new things here to go in about. So, Shards. Shards isn't necessarily new if you play the GBA DS iteration of Castlevania games, mainly Soma's age. Soma was a character that was able to gain souls from demons, and from that, he would gain different varying abilities. Shards are pretty much quite literally just like the soul system. But you have a few more varieties of effects that they can do over the soul system, like having familiars, passives, directional, which is straight out its own thing. Using the right analog stick, you can point Miriam's hand all around her, and different abilities can make use of that. Shooting arrows, using the way thing that reflects off mirrors, the aim. There are quite a few different abilities. Shoot fireballs and magic, and just there's quite a healthy amount of different shards, and you can upgrade shards and you can stack shards to make them more effective and more powerful, which essentially allows you to just find what you prefer and make use of it. Like, I made use of Summon Bat, which is a very early shard you can get, stacked and upgraded it, and still got decent use out of it throughout the game. I've heard people use a really early one. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's from the little weird jellyfish things. It makes a bouncy thing of water. I've heard people even go through the game with that, just wanking that up and stacking it. This system allows you to really just find the ones you want, and you can basically go through the whole game with them. The only times you'll have to really worry about changing is to use certain abilities, because certain shards that are story progressive, like the Reflect Way, which is a directional ability, you will have to take on and off. The Craft Work, which is a manipulating shard. So, aside from that, there are also skill shards, like for the double jump and such, or the shard that lets you go underwater that you can turn off and on willy-nilly. You also get shortcuts so you can have different equipment setups or shard setups and make it easier to quickly go through them. I did not make too much use of that until the end of the game, because I'm a willy-nilly old fart who doesn't want to make too much use of it. You get an archive built into your menu, where originally you had to go to the library in Symphony of Night. You can look at Demon's Quest items, archive notes, your compendium, personal data on like your time, your walk, your money, your worth, how long you've bounced off something's head with a downward kick, all kinds of crazy little just nodes. There are also the return of techniques from Symphony of Night, where you can do certain techniques with many different weapons and cause many different effects. And all weapons have many different ones you can learn throughout. You also can learn techniques and story lore of the world or what's going on through library books that you'll find on certain bookshelves. So there's quite a few new things in here, a lot of old things. It's a very familiar saying. Like, that's why I said if you want the short version, you love Symphony of Night. It's honestly just a level to it. You got your map completion, how many enemies you killed, lots of things. On top, another thing that's new is cooking. So you have a ability to cook food, and when it's a new item, the very first time eating it, it will give not temporary, but it will actually give a permanent stat boost, but only for the first consumption time. And you can even keep track of your total bonus stat increases that you've gotten from all your food. Like, I got 80% extra HP from all the unique foods I ate, 6 extra strength, 7 extra intelligence, 5.0 second faster mana regeneration, which encourages you to go find food items, buy food items, and farm food items. Yes, there's an NPC that will actually plant seeds for you for some crops to make new food items to eat and, well, stat up. I mean, being a Castlevania type, a Metroidvania-esque game, there is the familiarity of having HP, MP, and a level system. But just like Symphony of Night and several of its other bastard children, there are also stat items for your HP and MP that can be found in the world to give you a permanent increase on top of all of that. Food also has the extra benefit of healing either your HP, MP, or both at varying degrees. Like pork actually gives about, I'd say, 15% of your health back, while other items give more smaller levels, so you can use them as additional healing items, because there is a max limit on how many items you can carry of a type. And I am talking about a low cap, as in not 99, like 9. So if you need a lot of extra healing, that's a way to get a lot of extra healing with you. But overall, I really did enjoy the game. Bug-wise, it's not a perfect game. It's definitely probably the third best Kickstarter game I had anything involved with. Shovel Knight and Shantae still being some of the best ones that happened. But there were a few technical issues, like the day 1 patch. If anyone who played before doing the update for the day 1 patch would get some broken chests. There were a few design changes with the day 1 patch too. My understanding, if you went to a boss fight and had low HP, well, actually just low HP in general, the screen would flash red. Well, instead it gives you a pretty loud, just one-time little ding kind of sound to notify that your health has achieved a very low amount, which I think is much nicer, though it could have been a nice idea to maybe allow you to choose. Some people might prefer the flashing red border, but that's a different argument there. It is not an option in the menu, though that could have been a nice little idea, perhaps. But there were a few little changes like that in the day 1 patch. Another issue is a water bug that I had happen, I think, about 3 times. I think what causes it is having, if you do like certain amount actions and then just fall straight into water while doing them, I think it causes the game to forget what's going on and you're kind of incapable of doing anything in the water. Luckily, there was 2 quick, easy ways to fix this. You can you're able to suspend your current data. I would assume this feature was mainly made for the Switch version in mind, but it could also just been made for everyone's convenience in general. You know, if you're stuck in somewhere, you don't know where the hell the next save point is, and the only ones you know of are far away, you know. Very nice little feature, but you can use that to suspend and reload, and you'll start at the beginning of that room when you entered it. So that's one way around it, or you can still use items and just teleport with a waypoint and go back to the little safe town area where the only few surviving people are hanging out. Other things that are kind of different for a Metroidvania game is there's two kinds of main quests, or not main, but I mean like side activities you can do. One lady who references lots and lots of Castlevania characters is basically a giant wanted board who encourages you to go hunt certain demons who have killed certain villagers who are very, like, at first I wasn't really sure if it was intentional, but by the end of the game I was, like, really sure a lot of the name choices were intentional. She'll give you extra items based on that. You can also, at a graveyard little area near the farmer, the lady there will request items to be buried with villagers, and she'll also give you items. And one other thing you can also do is there's a lady who has, for some reason, forgotten every food she ever ate and requests food to be made. You have to figure out what she wants, make it, and she'll also reward you with items. This gives you a few extra things to do around. Not necessarily majorly needed, but I gotten some items that I could make through the crafting system, but I got them a lot faster by doing the quests, so there was some good items you can get without having to go through the extra legwork to do that. And while we're on that note, crafting. As I said, you can make food, but you can also make items, along with how I said you can enchant your shards. You can craft items. Sadly, you cannot upgrade weapons, which is a shame, because I found several weapons I thought were really good. And I think it's just kind of a shame that they're all very low. Like, you know, at the end of the game, I believe my sword has like 81, I think it was. And, you know, there's a lot of weapons I like that have like 20-something attack, but there's no way to bolster them up or anything. And it's a bit of a shame you can't bring some customization to your weapons, sadly. That's a bit of a shame. Not the end of the world, but there is a very nice array of different weapons that are very unique. That just really feels like a shame there's no way, because you don't find the equivalent higher level version of it. So it's a bit of a shame in that regard. Now, if you wanted to know secrets, there are secrets. There's a secret world. There's a few secret bosses. I haven't done them all yet. I did find one of the secret worlds. There's a secret boss I'm aware of that I haven't figured out how to get to yet. I may have to look into them. So there are some side things to do after the game, and completing the map, getting all the food made, and of course if you're playing the PS4 version or a Steam version, you have a lovely array of trophies that you can hunt for too, on top of all that. But graphically, musically, now a lot of the past Castlevania people helped with this project, so I find graphically, I've heard different people criticize, like Pad has criticized the graphics. The cel-shaded kind of look, I think, works alright in a way, because I don't think, how to put this. So the two games that have Soma, the GB, a lot of the older Castlevania games have a really good gothic look, and then you had the DS game he was in that turned into a bright, cheery anime look that didn't carry that gothic style with it. I feel like the way Bloodstained went kinda made a compromise in between the two. Like, it kept a decent gothic style with it. It's not as, like, thick black type of gothic that you'll find in like Symphony of the Night's artwork or some of the Castlevanias before the DS entries. But I do feel like it's a nice compromise while killing a little of the cel-shaded anime, but it doesn't go full just anime look. So I think it's a nice middle ground. Now I know there are a few animations and things here and there that can sometimes be weird, or when you load into a new portion of the game and take a swing at enemy, it takes a second to load of that. Those will fall in between usually, but the game is running in 3D, so it is annoying when you hit a screen transition and it's loading. That is a bit of a pest, but it isn't the end of the world. But I would imagine it's annoying on the Switch, considering all the horrible things I've heard about the Switch version. The music, though, is delightful. There are several tracks that are very, very nostalgic to me. The main theme's also really good. But, I wouldn't say I will remember all of them forever. Some of them do have a bit of a genericness, though. But to be fair, it's not like all the Symphony of the Night ones I remember all the time. I believe Pale Dance, I believe it was. It's like, na 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 na. Like, I love that one from Symphony of the Night. Like, I'll never forget that song at all, ever. That's always in my mind all the damn time. But there are several very lovely tracks in here. So overall, as someone who backed this game, I'm pretty satisfied with what I got. I can definitely understand some of the people who got the Switch version, or just pretty much everyone. I mean, I can understand if you got that and got, be honest, it kind of almost makes me feel like they should just redo a print with all the fixes later on and exchange people's things. Like, a whole Hollow Knight had some problem with some of its carts with the DLC, apparently. I think people need to get some more checks and balances in place. But I'm really satisfied with the PS4 version. It's definitely not perfect, and there are still some things they could do to fix it up a bit that I understand they are going to actually address. But all things considering, it was at least a much more complete product than the Switch version was. And as I said, it's on GOG, so if you really care about the whole ownership thing, that's definitely probably going to be the best way to get the most fixed, complete version in that regard as time goes on. And there's still much more content to be added, too. Stretch goals, those multiplayer, co-op, which is going to be online, several other modes that will they're all supposed to be free. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't go out and say like they're all going to come out soon, and you know, there's still time. Sadly, I don't want to think it, but you know, things could still have some problems, and I don't really hope it goes bad, but you know, you never know. There also is a pay-for DLC, which backers are getting free, but we've yet to get them yet. But it is $9.99, and the reason it is not free for non-backers is backers. I think the thing you gotta keep in mind, with especially with my criticism, is backers paid $60 for this game. What was the retail? $39.99 for the retail version they did. So backers paid more. So the justification was that DLC, which was originally supposed to be backer exclusive, like it wasn't even originally going to be available, but they asked if people wanted it to be, and the majority said no. The majority wanted it to be available for everyone, and I was one of the people who voted that. I'm not a fan of making things exclusive in that kind of sense in a game. Like, you know, statues and extras is one thing, but like the stuff, especially if it's really good stuff for the game. I'm not really a fan of that, so I have no problem with that. But I can't talk about that DLC, so sadly, I did wait, hoping that it would become available for us, but it hasn't, so I may do a separate little thing for that. But it comes with a extra boss, and you get a unique weapon from it, so it's just a little extra, not a big thing. I may also just leave a pinned comment down below my thoughts when I do that, maybe too, depending on what's unique in there. And I'd say overall that covers pretty much most of the main things of the game overall. It has lots of familiarity, it hits all the nostalgic so hardcore for me. And even though I paid much more extra money than what you're likely going to ever pay for this, I'm still pretty satisfied with it. I admit when I was streaming the game, I kind of mentioned a few times I felt a little wubbed the wrong way because we did end up paying more, but we got a pretty competent item out with more DLC stuff going to be coming out. So I'm pretty happy with it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the story, we'll go in the spoiler territory. Feel free to stick around. And, well, if you, of course, don't want to spoil anything, which I don't recommend spoiling it. I was a little surprised by the story a little bit. Or maybe I'm just that naive. But either way, you know, now's your out time. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Anyway, so the story. So, you get here, you be exploring the castle, getting shards, slowly working your way. And you run into Alfred pretty early in the place, and you'll run into him a few times, and also fight him one time. But you start getting a little suspicious of the different people here, who to trust, because it seems pretty obvious somebody isn't telling the truth, because all the parties have a different take on what's going on, a different tale of why they're there and that, as opposed to what other people are telling them. So you'll find out the most this is kind of, I don't know, I think it's like a really sneaky thing. So you can stack shards, as I said, and get multiple shards. And there's a merchant killer. She's a priest. You meet her early on in the game, and she helps you establish a little base here. And she will actually buy extra shards. And it is almost incredibly encouraged because they are a very good profit. Well, many items sell for nothing until way later in the game. Shards are usually worth anywhere between 300 to about 1,000 in-game shards. Really good in-game shards can be up to like 1,000. But you'll find lots of shards though. 300, 600, some 900. You'll find some good value in farming shards if you want to buy and craft a lot of things and you want some monies to do it. But you know what really surprised me, honestly, and when the scene between her and Alfred happened, I pretty much was being more on Alfred's side, because I kind of guessed in the beginning that Alfred was kind of being set up to be like a sympathetic character that was going to actually be helping you. And that's actually what happened. So the priest lady is actually behind everything that's going on. Her plan was to have you and Jibble fight each other, wear you down, have the demon possessing Jibble to possess you, and use you to summon more demons into the world and possibly Baal. Sadly, you had ruined all those plans by defeating Jibble, saving him, separating the demon out of him, killing that demon, and forcing her hand to take you on herself, using all the shards you sold her. Now, as far as I know, if you were crazy enough to maybe never sell a shard or something, that doesn't affect the fight at all or anything, which would have been actually interesting. Like, say, like, if you ever played, like, Final Fantasy VII, if you never knew, like, there's, like, 3 different versions of Sephiroth you can actually fight that have more or less HP depending on your, like, levels of that. Like, what it would have been interesting, like, if you sold her so many shards, you fought, like, an even harder version of her or something. That could have been interestingly sadistic, but interesting to me. But as far as I know, that's not a thing, which is a bit of a shame. But it was a nice twist that you've been basically powering her up. Because it's very unlikely, unless someone wants to run the experiment said scenario that I just said, that you would never sell shards. I mean, it's incredibly likely, considering I don't think I found any good source of money from anything but shards for like a good 60% of the game, really. So it's kind of hard to imagine you would never try to get some shards off of, like what I did is I farmed a lot of bat shards of that, but I just liked that little twist though. That twist was kind of a nice twist. And she summons Bale, you kick his ass, and you summon hope and friendship, and they all blow up, and you win. And you get the chance that you might get your shard binding crap taken out of you and free, and happy ending then. Well, for me and him, everyone else pretty much died. Alpha died, Zagato died, so it's Now, the one last criticism thing I'd like to really talk when it comes to the story, I said I would talk about more from Course of Moon. So, like I said, Course of Moon was originally supposed to be a prologue to this game. But I was very curious to see what they threw it away for. And as far as I can really tell, as far as I can tell, they really just wanted to do it so they had Zagato alive. I mean, Alfred could have fit multiple roles. He could have fit the alchemist apprentice who was helping use wool, or they could have literally just left him how he was, and just because there's a 10-year skip, so you know you could have just said like, oh, you know, we don't know, Alfred could have changed or some shit. Jeeble and Miriam knew each other and were friends, so that works out too. It just, having him alive obviously wouldn't be an option because the second path in Course of Moon, he dies. It straight out says they couldn't save him, only save his soul. So they would have had to go on with some ghost BS, or he became some demon thing. I think maybe becoming a demon thing could have been a possible thing, but I don't think what happened ended up being something necessary to truly throw out. Like, I mean, they could have even made new characters. But of course, you know, with how many times the game's been delayed, and I'm sure the money revenue sources to keep producing the game, which is why I think that's why the Switch version really came out in a poor state, because I think they got to the point where it's like, we need to put this out and start getting some money in. I mean, they had like 5 different companies, a publisher, the Kickstarter, like there was a lot of different shit going in this, you know. They can't go on forever that easily. So, I kind of think that's what happened in that regard. That it finally reached a point where they needed to put it out there to start getting some money. It's like, okay, it's good enough state here. And the Switch version was kind of like, nobody will know that. Honestly, I feel like they really should have delayed that, honestly. But I know some people would have outcried about it. And I know. But I would have rather had that than what a lot of the whole stuff I heard for the Switch version. Overall, though, again, I'm really satisfied with the game. I really enjoyed my playthrough. I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind it been longer. It is a bit of a shame there isn't like some second locale. There is no upside down castle. You just use the castle you're in itself and go upside down now. So there is no whole new locale. That could have been a nice addition, but there isn't. There is not. There sadly isn't. So you'll have to be crying tears on that one. But I am satisfied with this game. I may have paid more for it, and all I got was a slipcover. That's what 60 tears got. Like the game inside the slipcover is the exact same thing as the retail version. We just get a slipcover. But I'm satisfied with it, and I'm glad it's out there, and many people are enjoying it. After I finished the game, I started watching Avalanche reviews playing it. It's just been a wonder seeing so many people enjoy this game that many of us have backed and put passion in and hoped would come something. But the bigger question to me at this point is, will there be more Bloodstained? Obviously, they have the opportunity to make a franchise now. But will they be able to go forward doing that without having to do another Kickstarter or not? That's the big question. We'll have to wait for the future. They still have, the Switch version. They need to majorly fix a lot of the stretch goal DLCs to go. So it'll be a while before we ever get to probably really know the regards of that. But I hope this does mean we'll get some more Metroidvania in this, because believe me, outside of indie games, there has not been a lot of Metroidvania in this. And that's not to say there ain't any good indie ones, but, sometimes you want to see a few nice, a little higher than just 8-bit, 16-bit, a little bit more. But anyway, hopefully you learned something interesting in this review, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like. And if you feel like you learned nothing in this ramble, leave a dislike at the gate. Well, it's time to close the proving grounds for today, but thank you for joining. I hope you have a lovely day, praise the sun, and enjoy your 4th of July. Well, I guess I should say you hope you enjoyed it, because it's all way past. Take it easy. Till next time.
どうだった？私の作った朝ごはん。感想だよ。感想。そうか。